Hello and welcome to this edition of Interview. I'm Jack Rodzik. Welcome back. We've all had to pull aside of the road for the event of an emergency vehicle passing by, but what other factors help to aid these vehicles to their destinations? The committee in which both Senator Judy Emmons and Jane White are a part of is dedicated to 5 areas: legislation and policy, raising public awareness, victim services, data collection, and professional training. If you plan on lighting up the skies, be sure to check out the Meridian Township Fire Ordinance at meridian.mi.us. If you're someone who thinks mosquitoes have been more annoying than usual this summer, you're right. Home TV's Colin Dilworth has the buzz.
The concept of the open house is to emphasize the safety and importance of clean drinking water, along with the economic impact and reduced insurance costs.
Russell says Michigan is home to more than 60 different species of mosquitoes, but doesn't believe that the risk of diseases such as West Nile virus is any higher this year than in past years. And why cars will be slowing down at Hamilton's roundabout after we come back from the break on Meridian Magazine, your source for community news. Welcome back. Capital Community Bike Share is bringing a bike rental program to Meridian Township. The nonprofit organization.
And when construction is over, you won't be able to see this historical building anymore.
Welcome back. Some residents are concerned that one busy intersection doesn't have the proper means of crossing for bikers and pedestrians. Home TV's Gavin O'Mara has the story.
I'm Jack Rodzik, and thanks for watching this edition of Interview.
19-year-old Connor McCowan appeared in Ingham County's 30th Judicial Circuit Court on Tuesday, June 18th for his pretrial and motion to request bond reduction.
You are Connor McCowan, sir? Yes, Your Honor. Okay.
McCowan will be facing charges for fatally stabbing 23-year-old Michigan State University student Andrew Singler after a heated exchange of text messages in February of this year.
And the defendant stabbed Andrew at least 2 times, once directly in the heart.
The court heard testimonies from Connor's father, Randy Singler, and family friend and employer of Connor, David Jordan, who, if necessary, will help fund his defense. Randy McCowan stated he personally knew Andrew Singler, who dated his daughter, Shay McCowan, for a year and a half.
Very close. It was like a son for me as well. I miss him very much.
Andrew's mother, Janice Singler, was also in court that day to express her thoughts, saying it would devastate her if McCowan were to receive bond.
My son is not here to be straight anywhere. He's dead. And I don't believe that Connor should be able to have the freedom that my son doesn't have.
Judge Kennedy made his decision after saying there is question of Connor McCowan's likeliness to flee if he were granted bond.
So I think there is a question I can't raise too clear and convincing, as the court rule says. I have to find by clear and convincing evidence that he's not likely to flee. So at this time, for the reasons stated on the record, the court will deny bond.
Thank you.
It seems that Michigan State University has been doing a lot of construction in the recent years.
The last 5-6 years, I'd say it's been our largest construction program in many, many years.
But it's far from over.
This university has been around, for over 150 years, and some of the utilities, roads, infrastructure, things like that, they just get old and worn out.
And when construction is over, you won't be able to see this historical building anymore.
We very rarely take down buildings on MSU's campus, but in this case, the building is an old wood structure. It's safe to be in, but it really would have been cost prohibitive to try to keep.
It will cost a little under $1 million to demolish Morrow Hall, with a green space going where one stood. But as for a new building coming to campus,
bioengineering is a little different. That's a brand new building. It's going to be on our south campus next to the clinical center and the life sciences buildings. And that's a 4-story state-of-the-art high-tech laboratory building. 2 floors are going to be built out for laboratories. The other 2 will be shelved for future use. We anticipate our research need growing.
But they aren't the only projects going on in the upcoming year.
The Spartan Stadium is going to have an addition put on the north end, which is going to create locker room space, more restrooms, a large recruiting area, and a large media center.
Future plans also involve upgrading dining areas in Acres and Landon Hall, while Butterfield will be down for upgrades during the next year.
The construction, although it's disruptive to folks on campus, it's all part of keeping MSU alive and moving forward.
Until the next detour, in East Lansing, Jack Rodzik, Home TV.
This year, this is the first time, which is unusual for me.
This is actually only our second time.
Doing what, you might ask? Going to the cider mill, a tradition that many Michiganders take part in every year.
There's less people here than I've seen before.
Normally I go at least maybe every 2 or 3 weeks, and I think this fall season this is our second visit.
What's different this season,
And why have some customers not returned to the cider mills?
High prices.
We have about 100 acres of apples, and we didn't pick a single apple this year.
What do the cider mills have to say about this season?
This has probably been the most challenging and difficult season since we purchased the cider mill. There's a real apple crisis in Michigan this year.
It's been tough. It's kind of a statewide thing.
So why have prices gone up so much?
90% of the apple crop is pretty much not available this year. We have about 10% to work with.
Our business revolves around apples and cider. We lost 100% of our crop.
And with crop looking like this, it's no wonder why prices have increased.
Our cider obviously went up, probably 40%, but our cost going into it went up 4 times.
The cost of apples to us this year from last year has more than doubled. Our cost of cider has not doubled. It is considerably more, but we didn't feel we could pass everything on to the consumers, so we're sharing it.
But for some, it hasn't stopped them from coming back.
No, fortunately for us, it hasn't really. It just, makes you think about it a little bit for those who might not be able to afford it this year.
For Focal Point, I'm Jack Rodzik.